Dungeons & Dragons is a role-playing game where the dungeon master and the players tell a story together. They fight monsters, solve problems, get through obstacles, and go through adventures. Players have characters who live in the world the dungeon master or the DM describes. The DM plays every other character, otherwise called NPCs or non-player characters and monsters. During the game, players describe their characters' intended actions, such as attacking an opponent or picking a lock, and converse with the DM, who then describes the result or response. Trivial actions are usually automatically successful, but the outcomes of more complex or risky actions are determined by rolling the 20-sided die. Different tasks have different difficulties that the DM determines. If the player rolled equal to or higher than the defined number, that's a success, otherwise the player's character failed to execute the task. Every task that a character or monster might attempt in the game is covered by one of the 6 abilities. Strength measures bodily power, athletic training, and the extent to which you can exert raw physical force. Intelligence measures mental acuity, accuracy of recall, and the ability to reason. Wisdom reflects how attuned you are to the world around you and represents perceptiveness and intuition. Charisma measures your ability to interact effectively with others. It includes such factors as confidence and persuasiveness, and it can represent a charming or commanding personality. Constitution measures health, stamina, and vital force. A dexterity check can model any attempt to move nimbly, quickly, or quietly, to make acrobatic movements or to dodge certain attacks. Certain skills use certain abilities. So for example, acrobatics, sleight of hand, or stealth are different kind of dexterity skills. So if your character has a higher score in dexterity, you'll have a higher chance to succeed in tasks that require you to roll for one of the dexterity skills, because then you add bonus points to your roll. Before you can cast a spell, you have to have it prepared. Although preparing spells is different for each class. Spellcasters, like clerics, have a wide array of spells they can choose from every single day. But other classes, like the more studied arcane classes, for example wizards, can only prepare spells that they have in their spellbooks. Other spellcaster classes, like the bards, who draw their magical power from within, have a much narrower number of chosen spells, but they have them prepared at all times. How many times you can cast a spell is determined by how many spell slots you have. You'll be able to cast easier, weaker spells more times a day than a harder, more powerful one. So you'll probably cast level 1 spells more times than level 3 spells. As your character levels up, you'll be able to cast more powerful spells and you can cast them more and more times. Cantrip, on the other hand, is a type of spell that is so easy for the spellcaster that it can be cast as many times as you like. Rituals are spells that usually require more time and are spells that you're able to cast without using a spell slot. The description of a spell will always tell you what range and what your spell's area of effect is. It can be either a single target or it can burst out in a specific shape. So be careful about how far away your target is, or if you casting a spell might hit your teammates as well. Some spells require you to roll d20 die to see if you hit a target or not. Some of them require the enemies to roll d20 to saving throws to see if they resist your spell, while some of them just work automatically. Every combat starts with the characters and monsters rolling for initiative, unless one of the opponents is surprised, where the other foe doesn't expect an attack. The initiative determines when your turn is in the combat. Whether you can hit a target with a sword or not is determined by your attack roll. For an attack roll, you have to roll a 20-sided die, and depending whether you use a bow that uses your dexterity, or you use a battle axe that uses your strength, a certain bonus is added to your roll depending what your character is proficient at, and how strong or nimble your character is. Every character and object and monster has an armor class, also called AC, that determines how hard it is to attack them. The AC can be changed by having more dexterity bonuses or by having armor and using a shield. If you succeed in your attack roll, you have to roll damage to determine how much you were able to hurt your enemy. So for example, for a hand axe, you have to roll the well-known 6-sided die. You also have the role if you want to heal someone, sometimes with the 4-sided die. Every character and object and monster has hit points that determines how durable they are both physically or mentally. Creatures or objects with more hit points are more difficult to kill or destroy. If someone or something takes damage, it's subtracted from their hit points. Each round of combat grants you an action, a bonus action, a move action, and a reaction that can be triggered under certain circumstances. For your action, you can do many things, usually attack with a weapon or cast a spell. Every character which isn't controlled by a player is controlled by the Dungeon Master. Every monster and NPC or non-player character. You as a DM can come up with non-player characters, their voices, their appearances, their attitudes, etc. on the spot, but if you play an adventure that's already written down, you have descriptions of these characters. They exist in the world you describe and the players can interact with them through their characters, otherwise called PCs. In every game we made during our project, we have important topics that can emerge during the session. At the end of every session, we wrote down reflection questions for you to ask the players, so that they can process the experiences they had during the game and see how each problem they encountered while playing can apply to the real world. There are certain rules in the playbooks and guidebooks that can help you run the game, but know that you are the only one that actually decides what the rules are. Just check in with your players and try to be consistent. You definitely can come up with a rule on the spot if you don't want to spend time looking it up during the game. You're the DM, you decide. Have fun and have a discussion.